Yes. Morning all. So before I start, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear, whether the screen is visible or not? Yes. Yeah.
Yes, visible.
And thank you. So in the previous session, right, just I was briefing you about this Azure data engineering, right? The drawbacks with this on-premises. We need to perform all these installations, database, designing database objects, and we require separate teams for that, like hardware team, operating system team, networking team, security team for database administrators. So no need to maintain all this in the cloud. So data engineers, with the help of these cloud services, they work on the data and they are responsible for smooth data flow from the source to destination. So data engineers preparing data, cleansing data, transforming and processing data, the main, and the data scientist strategizes for the future, analyst summarizes the past. Data engineer does all the groundwork for the data scientist and analyst. More than 80% of the data analysis work is done by data engineers. Data engineers, what are the sources of the data? What is the format of the data? How to transform and what is the destination of the data? And data engineering roles, designing entire data flow architecture, and is responsible for creating a data warehouse. Yes. ETL is also one of the key tasks of data engineer, right? Extract, transform, and load, and data monitoring, right? Whether that ETL is performed perfectly and the data is available at each step. Data security, right? Yes. It's also responsible for data security. Means data needs to be secured at each step of the process without any data leaks, and collaboration and communication, communicating with the business team and also with the data scientist. You need to have the knowledge of analytics, right? And so they analyze the data and transform it into structured and useful format. They need to have the strong analytics, and also certain process has to be automated, right? You need to perform automations. So these are the major roles of Azure Data Engineer. And I was talking about the various data engineering products: Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Synapse Analytics, Azure Data Factory, Azure Data Bricks, Azure Cosmos DB, and Azure Streaming, and Azure Key Vault. So here just Azure SQL, it's a cloud RDBMS, Microsoft, right? It's for OLTP operation, not for data warehouse. Azure Data Lake, it's a distributed file system with unlimited data storage in the cloud. Yes. So its data lake is a cloud DFS, cloud distributed file system, repository for large varieties of structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data. So I was saying like data lake provides some benefits like unlimited data storage, supports all varieties of data, supports all formats of data like .txt, .csv, .zip files. So here, as the files are there, we doesn't maintain relationship between the files. So I'm expecting a cloud or DBMS that too used for data warehouse purpose, that too for expecting parallel processing. That is nothing but Azure Synapse Analytics. Azure Synapse, one second. Before that, Azure Data Factory. It's a cloud-based ETL. It is a cloud-based ETL, right, of Microsoft. The data integration service, because OLTP systems at one side, data warehouse systems. Azure SQL is a OLTP system. Azure Data Lake and Azure Synapse will take it as a data warehouse, stores historical data. So from these OLTP systems, right, the transactions, whatever happened in the OLTP systems, if you want to bring it to this data warehouse system, extracting, right, it's done by ADF. ADS does not come in OLTP or in data warehouse. It's an integration service between OLTP and data warehouse. For bringing the transaction from OLTP systems to warehouse, we have ETL. Already we have got some ETL tools like Informatica, Data Stage, and Talent. They are for on-premises, but on the cloud premises, I need a ETL on the cloud. That is what? ADF. I want a ETL on the cloud. That is what? ADF. We can connect with the cloud databases using ADF. We can connect with cloud databases, non-cloud databases, NoSQL databases. Right? Using ADF, we extract data and pump the data into data lake or Synapse and then perform transformation. Our working style is ELT. Generally, it is ETL, but working style is ELT. ETL for small volumes of data, ELT for huge volumes of data. So Azure SQL, Cloud RDBMS for our OLTP operations, not for data warehouse. Azure Synapse, the Cloud RDBMS for data warehouse, for analytics, for batch processing. Azure Data Lake, Cloud DFS for unlimited data storage. Azure Data Factory, Cloud ETL for data integration service, right? Yesterday I was speaking about this Databricks. Databricks means it provides a cluster, means a group of systems connected in a network within the cloud. So we use a Spark execution model. It's a very high-speed execution model to process huge data, big data. Spark main features in-memory computation, supports MMP, massive parallel process, MPP, sorry. Massive parallel process. It's lazy evaluated. Spark is 100 times faster than normal disk processing. So I was saying one example in the last class. In 2016, Yahoo tested with Spark. So sorting 1 TB data executed in 1.2 minutes. It's a high speed. Same Yahoo tested with Oracle. It has taken 3.5 days. MySQL has taken 6 days. Teradata 4.5 hours. Netija has taken 3 hours. Hadoop has taken 4.2 minutes. But Spark and Hadoop and Spark combinedly taken 1.2 minutes. Problem with Spark is independently it cannot run. It needs a cluster. It needs a cluster. Spark runs on on-premise cluster like Hadoop. I was saying that if you've got 500 nodes, it's worthy processing 2 TB of data at a time. Your data volume increased, your cluster speed will go down because as data volume is increased. So we need to keep on scaling up your cluster by adding new nodes. Again, after 2 months, again, data increased, again 100 nodes added. Again, every time you keep on adding this nodes to the data cluster. So every time scaling up your physical data center is a complex task. That's why I need a cluster in the cloud, that too with auto scaling property, right? So this is provided by Databricks. Databricks is a Spark cloud cluster. What is Databricks? Spark cloud cluster with auto scaling feature. But okay, I'll come back to this Databricks. Today my data load requires 100 nodes. Tomorrow data volume increased. It will be extended to 200 automatically, and after processing again, if the processing is completed, again it will revert back to 100 nodes. This is general Databricks. But it cannot interact with my Azure storage services like Data Lake, Azure SQL, and Azure Synapse. That's why Microsoft and Databricks combinedly, collaboratively launched a new product called Azure Databricks ADB, right? It is a Spark cluster with auto scaling feature and also compatible with all Azure services, right? So here, what is the execution model? What is the execution engine here? How the execution is happening, right? Here, execution happening by using Spark. It's very high speed processing technology, right? It is lazy evaluated means whenever you perform action only, then only it is going to get executed. Until then, it won't be executed. Okay.
Hi sir, one doubt I have.
Yes.
There is another course of DurgaSoft called as Azure Data Engineer Full Stack. So what is difference between that and this course?
This Azure data engineering only, right? What I'm discussing. The
No,
course.
no, full stack. There are two
Same thing.
courses. No,
Same thing. Same, both are same.
okay, okay.
So here, in apart from that, right? Additionally to that, but so here I'm going to discuss in Azure data engineering, ADE. Here I'll be discussing ADF, ADB, along ADB with PySpark. Most of them they won't see it. I'll be also be giving entire thing on this PySpark and Synapse Analytics. Synapse Analytics, right? So check that whenever you go for anything, right? Updating of this Azure data engineering, see that you have this PySpark, Spark with PySpark, right? Spark with Python implementation is the main execution engine, right? Here, right? So here, so here PySpark, right? In most Databricks application, in most Databricks applications, right? PySpark is the majority of the code. Majority. In more PySpark is the majority of the code. We talk currently most of the projects are available in PySpark. Currently, most of the here I'm going to discuss this thing in brief, right? But if you see in other training sites, just they provide overview of this PySpark. This is the majority, right? Try to check. PySpark is discussed in detail. Currently, most of the projects are available in PySpark. Currently, industry is taking two separate developers. They're taking two separate developers. First thing is for Databricks, separate developer. ADF, separate developer. Okay. In future, you need to, okay, as of now, initially you can get in with any of this, right? But in the future, you require the knowledge of both, right? Yes. So most of the students ask difference between this ADF and ADB. If I update with ADF, is it fine or should I go with ADB? So here, Databricks. ADF, ADB. In ADF, we have two versions. ADF version 1, ADF version 2. See, people say that full stack, Azure data engineering, all that, right? But Azure data engineering, so which includes mainly ETL, that is extracting, transforming, and how you are going to bring the data. Majorly, the data engineering involves extracting data from different sources, transforming it, loading it. Transforming it means for processing, we are mainly using Spark, PySpark. So we have two versions here, ADF version 1, version 2. In version 2 especially, now a version 1 is not supported. In version 2, we have concept called data flows. Data flows. Data flows, right? Data flows used to perform transformations. Data flows used to perform transformations. But observe here, but in version 2, I will create this data flows without writing any code. Just drag and drop, best by drag and drop, right? And I do some configuration. There are a lot of differences between version 1 and version 2. Later, I'll take a separate session on this, right? Differences between version 1 and version 2. Version 1 need to have a lot of other knowledge, right? Yeah. But in version 2, it was totally simplified. No need of any writing any code. Zero coding ETL tool, right? Just by drag and drop, I do some configurations and perform these operations. But here internally, when data flows are submitted, right? Observe, when data flows are submitted, observe, data flows are internally converted into Databricks jobs. Here, I no need to write. No need to write any Databricks code. Here, execution is not done. Execution is not done by ADF. Execution done by Databricks. Understand here? Internally, they are converted into Databricks job. You no need to write any Databricks code. The execution is not done by ADF. It is done by Databricks. You may ask, when it is internally converted into Databricks job and executed, why again separate Databricks developer required? Why again separate developer? You may ask, right? Why again separate developer required for Databricks? So to develop some custom functionalities, we require Databricks developer. Databricks developer. See, for 99%, if the data is structured, if data is structured, all my structured operations can be done by ADF. But still ADF has a limitation. If data is unstructured, ADF cannot process. ADF cannot process. ADF data flows. ADF data flows cannot transform if data is unstructured. Assume you are taking reviews for a particular movie or a particular restaurant. People saying, giving the reviews in their own text form. Think that 1,000 reviews were given. How many are positive reviews? How many are negative reviews? The data is unstructured. We cannot write any query for this kind of things. Such kind of analytics we cannot do using ADF. So I require some unstructured data processing, right? So directly we cannot define them into our data flows directly. I require Databricks developer, right? And even if I talk about this graph data, right? Even this kind of data processing also, right? Here data shape is not a structured one, right? Here interlink between multiple records, right? Yes. Processing this kind of graph data with SQL queries is not possible. So we need a special graph algorithms, right? At that time, ADF will not help you, right? In designing the data flow to perform the transformation. At that time, we require Databricks developer who helps the complex logics. There should be some coordination between ADF and ADB developer, right? And that's one. And even graph data or streaming kind of data, this kind of data, right? So everything done by Databricks developer. Yes. And in that, 1 second. Okay. Assume you are Azure data engineer. Assume daily 5 TB data. 5 TB data is coming. Where is the data to be stored? OLTP. Azure SQL or Azure Cosmos DB. Azure Cosmos, sorry. Cosmos DB is a kind of NoSQL database. Now, using ADF, we connect to Azure SQL or Cosmos DB and extract data and dump the data into Azure Data Lake or Azure Synapse. Azure Data Lake or Azure Synapse, they act as data warehouse. Azure SQL, Cosmos DB, this is for NoSQL. This is like transactions, normal OLTP transactions. So the client is expecting the result by 10 p.m. I will run the process by 7 p.m. Mostly by 8 p.m. extraction might be completed. Data is loaded into data lake. Again, I use ADF to perform transformations. What kind of transformations? Aggregation transformations. Before aggregation transformations, what is required? Data cleaning, again done by ADF. So final result I'll store in Synapse DB. Okay. Fine. So these are these different data engineering products. Fine. 1 second. Not bad. So just going with the introduction to this ADF. Azure Data Factory. ADF, as I said, as part of the course, ADF, ADB, it's PySpark and Synapse Analytics, right? Yes. First thing, cloud-based ETL of Azure. Advantage. First thing, no infrastructure. Secondly, no license. Pay as you go. And this price is less compared with AWS or Google, right? And thirdly, codeless ETL tool. Codeless ETL tool. Even if you want to write customized code, You have provision, right? Customized code. You have provision to write customized code. The two without coding by defining complex pipelines. Fourth, ADF can connect with ADF can connect with any kind of data sources. It can extract data and write data. All types of storages. Into all type of storages, right? Yes. Like files or DBMS or DBMS DB, NoSQL DB. These databases can be on-premise or cloud. These databases can be on-premise databases or cloud within the same platform. Within the same platform, cloud. Okay. ADF can connect with any kind of data sources, extract data and write data into all types of storages. The databases can be on-premise databases or cloud within the same platform or other cloud platform databases. Observe this source. Assume it is RDBMS. It is going to extract data, ADF, to target data warehouse. Warehouse. ADF building blocks. ADF building blocks. Mainly here to construct a pipeline. To construct pipelines, right? To construct pipelines, we need to follow some steps. To construct pipelines, we need to follow some steps. Majorly 5 building blocks. Five building blocks. First one, pipeline. Pipeline. Second, activities. Third, like data sets. Fourth, linked services. Fifth, integration runtime. So here, pipeline activities. Within the pipeline, you will define activities. You will define activities. But activities are working with data, are working with data. So to work with data, we require data sets. We require what? Data sets. So here talking about these data sets. To create data sets, we require connection strings. We require connection strings. These connection strings are called as linked services. So next, what linked services? To create a linked service, the prerequisite integration runtime. To create linked service, the prerequisite is integration runtime. This IR. Yes. So first, discussing about one by one, right? Pipeline activities, data sets, linked service, integration runtime. First one, pipeline. Mainly as ADF developer. Mainly as ADF developer, right? Your responsibility. Creating pipelines is creating pipelines. We run the pipelines. We run the pipelines on demand or scheduled based. Scheduled based. As per business requirement, we need to create pipeline. We need to create pipeline. Simply saying about pipeline, right? Pipeline. It is a set of sequence of activities. It is a set of sequence of activities. Each activity is working with some data operation. The set of sequence of activity, right? Each activity, right? For example, right? Activity number one. Set of sequence of activities, right? Sequence of activity number one. Data extraction happens. Activity number two. Data filtering. Unnecessary data elimination. Unnecessary data elimination. Activity number three. Adding a new column. Activity number four. Updating data or transforming data. So in this way, so any data operation, right? Working with some data operation, activity number 1, 2, 3. In this way, multiple of sequences of activities. So first, which activity? To be executed. Next, which activity to be executed? So this is set of sequence of activities. So this is set of sequence of activities, which is called as pipeline, right? Okay, understood, right? What is a pipeline? So majorly 5 building blocks. You need to understand these things clearly. Pipeline activities will be working with data. So to work with data, we require data sets. So data sets also requires connection strings, called as linker services. For the linker services, we require integration runtime. So I'll be discussing these things in brief in the next class. So hope you have understood all this, what we have discussed. All right. So given the total information about this Azure data engineer, what are his responsibilities, preparing, cleansing, transforming, processing, as compared with data scientist, data intel. So nearly total work is done by data engineer. What are the roles, different roles of data engineer, right? Yes. All these things. Major role of data, performing ETL, extract, transform, and loading, creating data warehouse, and designing entire data flow architecture, right? Yes. These are, as a ADF developer, as a Databricks developer, you will be interacting with all these products or services. So it's a kind of Azure SQL is a RDBMS, cloud RDBMS, right, for OLTP operations. Data lake is a distributed file system with unlimited storage. All structured, unstructured, semi-structured data storage can be done here. Azure Synapse Analytics, it's a RDBMS, cloud RDBMS, and that too with a data warehouse kind of activity. Data factory, it is between the OLTP systems and the data warehouse systems and integration between those two, right? And it performs ETL, extracts, transforms, and loads. Databricks, right? Azure Databricks, it provides a cluster for this Spark, right? So performs some kind of analytics using Apache Spark. Cosmos DB is a kind of NoSQL database, cloud-based NoSQL database, right? Azure Streaming Vault, huge volumes of data streams, streaming data, right? Capturing, right? And Azure Key Vault, some kind of security to be maintained for your cloud data, right? These are the main things. So yes, one by one I discussed on just I give an overview of it. So as part of the course, so majorly Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, the PySpark, and Azure Synapse Analytics. Right? Fine. So in the next session, right? Yes, next session. So that link will be changing. You are supposed to get enrolled, right? So you can see in that Zoom chart, you can see the Zoom chart. Clearly, they have provided the course content of this AD Azure Data Engineering Data Factory. And if anyone missed the yesterday's session, right, you can see that demo video of it. Yes, and this entire information for Azure Data Engineering, it is 12,000, which includes AD, ADF, ADB, PySpark, and Synapse Analytics. So the duration will be like 3 months for this AD. So you can see the contact details of that online team. And most of that, after enrolling, after paying that, don't forget to share the screenshot of your payment to that mail ID provided. Then only they'll be forwarding the link to you. Most of you get enrolled, but they forget to share the screenshot of your payment to that mail ID provided. And further, if you have not received the link for the next class, right, you can just call on that number. You can just call on that numbers provided. They have provided some contact details, 3 contact details they have provided. And fine. So everything will be discussed in brief, step by step, everything. There is nothing anybody can update with this Azure Data Engineering. So some basics of
Hello.
SQL required, right? And 1 second. So you'll be getting
Hello.
each and yeah. I'll just give me a second. I'll come back to your queries. So you'll be getting each and every session video. From next class onwards, you'll be getting every video to your Google Drive. And a WhatsApp group is going to be created. You will be added to the WhatsApp group. And the clear class notes you'll be getting to your mail IDs. And some assignments and tasks will be provided. And some interview questions at the end, right? Will be forwarding. Yes. Yeah. Someone was asking a query, right? Yes.
Sir, what is the advantage of Azure Cloud versus GCP, and which is in more demand?
See, every cloud, see, once again, I was saying that even this what is Databricks is not only for Azure, it's for Google and this. As compared to that, this Azure has got a very less cost. As it's cheaper than those things, right? As compared to Google and AWS. See, whatever this is not only for this Azure environment, other also they can be used, but Azure is cheaper as compared to those things. And today mostly like Azure is preferred.
And could you please share the notes today, whatever the notes that you have from the past 3 days? So
Yes.
could you please share it today?
Yes, I'll keep it now itself. I'll keep in your this Zoom chat, right? So this everything whatever I discussed, right? In the demo
No,
session.
yeah, these notes you can send it to email ID because that will be, it will have. So.
Yes. 1 second, 1 second. So this whatever we discussed, right? Yes. 1 second. Hold on. Yeah, 1 second. See, in the Zoom chat, can you see right the notes forwarded? Could even download it? Are you able to see in the Zoom chat, right? Everyone.
Yes.
One second. Okay. Just download it. One more file I have forwarded, right? Check that one more file. Area of building blocks. What I discussed. Still, two files I have forwarded, right? Check with it. One is AD introduction notes. Just now I discussed about AD of introduction, building blocks, right? Yes, tomorrow we have a session, right? So tomorrow the link is getting changed. So you are supposed to get enrolled for getting the link and for getting the videos, class notes. And don't subscription, everything I'll be discussing, right? In that, once I complete this idea of building blocks, I'll show you the subscription or to go to the free subscription, right? Step by step, I'll explain it. Yeah, someone was asking query, right?
So from tomorrow onwards, you're going to share the notes through like this, or are you going to send it to email?
So separate WhatsApp group will be created tomorrow. Will be added to the WhatsApp group, either through WhatsApp or through email.
Because email will be better, so that whenever if we want to revise again, so it will be we can see it in the mails, right?
Yes,
WhatsApp maybe.
that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Will be fine. In email you will be getting. So clear notes, whatever I discussed in the class, everything clear notes I'll be forwarding. Everything you will be understanding, whatever I discuss. All the sessions will be interactive sessions. If you've got any query, immediately you can unmute and you can ask that query. You'll work with multiple examples. I said I'll be working with nearly 50 exercises. I'll be showing you in ADF, right? You can just go to the course content, very lengthy course content, right? We'll be discussing all that in brief, right? Fine. And most of these training sites, right, where I am in this PYSPARK ADB with PYSPARK, I'm saying, right? Fine. Any other queries, right? Anyone? So yes, if I'm done with the queries, I'll sign off for now. So just to get enrolled for continuing with the remaining training sessions, right? Fine. Thank you all for your time. Thank you. Meet you tomorrow. Right.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Tomorrow class is there, sir.
Yeah, tomorrow we have class.
And one more thing, sir. May I know when this Azure cloud service is introduced? Sir? In which year?
What is that?
In which year it is introduced, sir? Azure, Microsoft Azure.
Microsoft Azure, particularly, that doesn't know. I need to check once. When it was introduced. Okay.
Okay,
Fine. So I'm stopping for now. We'll continue tomorrow.